I'm sitting in Marcus Flynn's glass-walled office, watching him lean back in his leather chair with that smug expression I've come to know too well. My stomach twists into knots. He slides a folder across his mahogany desk, not even bothering to make eye contact. "We're letting you go, Tyler," he says casually, like he's ordering lunch. "Effective immediately." My mind goes blank for a second. 6 years. I've given this company 6 years of my life, building their entire client database system from scratch. The fluorescent lights above seem too bright suddenly. I try to speak, but my throat feels tight. Marcus finally looks at me, and there's something almost gleeful in his eyes. "You're too good at your job, honestly. Makes the rest of the team look bad." He actually says it loud, like it's my fault for working hard. My name is Tyler Morgan, and I'm 29 years old. I've been the lead systems developer at Phoenix Digital Solutions since I was 23, fresh out of college with a computer science degree and more ambition than common sense. I started in a cramped cubicle, taking on projects nobody else wanted, working weekends and holidays to prove myself. By 25, I was managing the entire technical infrastructure. By 27, I'd saved the company millions with my custom automation systems. I'm not bragging. These are just facts documented in performance reviews that apparently don't matter anymore. I live alone in a small apartment downtown, spend most evenings coding, and honestly don't have much of a social life outside work. My parents always said I was too focused, too intense. Maybe they were right. But I loved what I did at Phoenix Digital. Past tense. Loved. 3 weeks earlier everything seemed normal. I was in the server room, finishing the final touches on our new automated billing system. It had taken me 8 months of late nights and weekend coding sessions, but it was finally ready. The system would save Phoenix Digital Solutions nearly $2 million annually by eliminating manual data entry errors and streamlining invoice processing. I remember feeling proud as I watched the test run complete without a single error. My reflection stared back at me from the dark monitor screen. Tired eyes, messy hair, wrinkled shirt from another all-nighter. But I was smiling. This was my masterpiece. Marcus walked past the server room and paused. "Still here, Tyler. Don't you have a life?" He laughed, but there was an edge to it. I didn't think much of it then. The next morning, I presented the billing system to the entire management team. The conference room was packed. Marcus, his assistant director Kyle Patterson, the finance head, operations manager, everyone important. I walked them through each feature, showing how the automation would cut processing time by 75%. Kyle's face went pale when I demonstrated the error detection module. See, Kyle's nephew Brody worked in billing, and let's just say Brody wasn't exactly employee of the month material. He made mistakes constantly, costing the company thousands in corrections and client disputes. "This is impressive work," the finance head said, nodding with approval. Others murmured agreement. But Marcus stayed quiet, arms crossed, jaw tight. Kyle whispered something in his ear. That's when I should have known something was wrong. 2 days later, I got called into a sudden performance review meeting. Just me, Marcus, and Kyle. No HR present, which seemed odd. They sat on one side of the table, me on the other. The room felt cold despite the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. Marcus opened a folder filled with printed papers. "Tyler, we've been receiving complaints about your work style." My eyebrows shot up. "Complaints? From who?" "You're too intense," Kyle added. "Other team members feel intimidated by your pace. You make them look bad by constantly overperforming." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Too good. That's a complaint now. I tried to defend myself, mentioning the successful projects, the money I'd saved them, the systems that ran perfectly. Marcus held up his hand. "We'll revisit this conversation soon." After that meeting, I started noticing things. Small things at first. My access to certain files got restricted without explanation. Invitations to planning meetings stopped coming. My desk phone barely rang anymore. People were being told to route requests through Kyle instead of coming directly to me. I caught Kyle and Brody having lunch together in the break room one afternoon. They stopped talking when I walked in. Brody smirked at me before leaving. Something was definitely brewing, but I couldn't figure out what. My closest work friend, Angela Martinez from accounting, pulled me aside near the coffee machine. "Watch your back," she whispered. "I heard Kyle talking to Marcus about restructuring your position." Her eyes were worried. "They want to bring Brody into your role." My blood ran cold. Brody. The guy couldn't even file expense reports correctly. I spent that night wide awake, staring at my ceiling. Brody taking my job made no sense from a business perspective. Unless this wasn't about business. It was about connections, nepotism, and the fact that I'd created a system that exposed Brody's incompetence. I got out of bed and opened my laptop. My personal laptop, not the company one. If they were planning something, I needed to protect myself. I logged into my private cloud storage where I kept backup copies of all my code. Everything I'd built over 6 years, the client database, the billing automation, the inventory tracking system, the customer portal. I developed most of it during off hours, using my own equipment, my own time. The company benefited from my work, but technically, the intellectual property was mine. I checked the employment contract I'd signed years ago. There it was in Section 12. Any work created outside company hours using personal resources remains the property of the employee. I took screenshots of everything. The following Monday, Marcus called the firing meeting. Now here I am, holding this termination folder, trying to process what's happening. "We're going in a different direction," Marcus continues. His voice smooth like oil. "Kyle will be overseeing IT operations directly. We've brought in fresh perspective." Fresh perspective. That's code for Brody. I glance through the glass wall and see him at my desk, already sitting in my chair, touching my keyboard with his greasy fingers. He waves at me, grinning. My hands ball into fists. "You'll receive 2 weeks severance," Marcus says, sliding another paper forward. "Sign here acknowledging the termination." I stare at the document. Something inside me snaps into sharp focus. I'm not signing anything without reading it first. "Take the papers. I'll review this with my lawyer." Marcus's smile falters slightly. Security escorts me out like I'm a criminal. I have to pack my personal items into a cardboard box while Brody watches, still smirking. Angela rushes over, hugging me quickly. "I'm so sorry," she whispers. She slips a piece of paper into my hand. In the parking lot, I sit in my car for 20 minutes just breathing. The paper Angela gave me has her personal phone number and a message. "They're planning to use your systems. Kyle told Brody he'd get full credit for your work." My jaw clenches. So that's the play. Fire me, install Brody, let him take credit for 6 years of my development work. Claim it was all created in-house by their new golden boy. And Marcus probably gets a bonus for cutting costs by replacing me with someone cheaper. I start my car and drive home, my mind already racing with possibilities. They have no idea what they just started. That night I barely sleep. By dawn, I'm at my kitchen table with my laptop, coffee pot empty, energy drinks scattered around me. I'm reviewing every system I built for Phoenix Digital. The billing automation, the client management portal, the inventory system. All of it coded primarily at home on my personal time. I pull up my Git repository logs. Timestamps don't lie. 70% of my commits happened after 7 p.m. or on weekends. My personal IP address. My personal machine. My code. The employment contract is clear, this is mine. Around 8 a.m. my phone buzzes. It's a text from a number I don't recognize. "Tyler, this is Harrison Webb from Velocity Tech Solutions. Heard through the grapevine you're available. Interested in consulting work." I stare at the message. Harrison Webb. I know that name. Velocity Tech is one of Phoenix Digital's biggest competitors. I text back. "Very interested. Let's talk." 2 days later, I'm sitting across from Harrison in a sleek downtown cafe. He's in his 50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. "Marcus Flynn is an idiot," he says bluntly, stirring his espresso. "I've watched Phoenix Digital operate for years. Everyone in the industry knows you're the brain behind their tech infrastructure. I'm surprised by his directness. Harrison leans forward. I want to offer you something better than consulting. I want you to build Velocity's next-generation client management system. From the ground up. Your vision, your code, full creative control. He names a salary that's triple what Phoenix paid me. But there's more. And, Harrison adds with a slight smile, I'm prepared to offer you equity. 5% ownership in Velocity Tech. We're expanding aggressively, and we need someone like you leading our technology division. My heart pounds. This isn't just a job. This is a launchpad. I accept Harrison's offer that same day. By the end of the week, I'm set up in Velocity's modern office space with a team of 3 junior developers who actually respect technical expertise. No more Kyle breathing down my neck. No more Brody contaminating my workspace with incompetence. The freedom is intoxicating. I start designing a client management system that makes my Phoenix Digital work look like a rough draft. Advanced AI integration, predictive analytics, automated reporting that learns from user behavior. This isn't just software, it's next level. Meanwhile, Angela keeps me updated on the chaos unfolding at Phoenix. Brody tried to modify my billing system and accidentally corrupted the database. 3 days of client invoices disappeared. Kyle had to call in an emergency IT consultant who charged $15,000 to restore the backup. Marcus apparently screamed at Brody in front of the whole office. But he couldn't fire his buddy Kyle's nephew. So they're stuck with him, drowning in problems they created. 6 weeks into my new role, something unexpected happens. Angela calls me late on a Thursday night, her voice urgent. Tyler, you need to know something. Marcus and Kyle are planning to sell your code to a third-party vendor. They're claiming Phoenix Digital owns full rights to everything you created. My blood boils. They can't do that. I have proof it's mine. Angela's voice drops to a whisper. They don't care about proof. They're betting you won't fight back. Kyle told everyone you probably don't even have copies. Brody deleted all your files from the company servers. So that's their move. Erase evidence, sell my work, pocket the money. They underestimate me if they think I didn't see this coming. I thank Angela and immediately call Velocity's legal counsel. By morning, we have a cease and desist letter drafted with 30 pages of evidence. Timestamps, repository logs, email records, everything. Our lawyer personally delivers it to Marcus's office. The cease and desist letter hits Phoenix Digital like a bomb. According to Angela, Marcus went pale reading it. Kyle tried to bluster, claiming they had rights to the code, but their own legal team shut that down fast after reviewing my documentation. Marcus calls me directly, which surprises me. His voice is tight, angry. Tyler, be reasonable. You built that code while employed by us. We have claims. Keep my voice calm. Check Section 12 of my employment contract, Marcus. Work created outside company hours on personal equipment belongs to the employee. Every timestamp proves my case. He sputters, threatening legal action. I almost laugh. Go ahead. Discovery will be very interesting. I have documentation of every hour I worked, every piece of equipment I used. Plus, I'd love a court to examine why you fired your top performer to install your buddy's incompetent nephew. There's a long silence. Then Marcus hangs up. 2 days later, Phoenix Digital's lawyer sends a settlement offer. They'll acknowledge my ownership of the code if I agree not to sue for wrongful termination. I reject it. I want more. Word spreads fast in the tech industry. By month 3 at Velocity, recruiters are calling me constantly. Other companies want to know about the guy who stood up to Phoenix Digital. My LinkedIn profile explodes with connection requests. A tech podcast reaches out for an interview about intellectual property rights and protecting your work. But the real victory is watching Velocity's new system launch. We call it Nexus. And it's everything Phoenix Digital's infrastructure isn't. Faster, smarter, more intuitive. We demo it at a major industry conference, and the response is overwhelming. 3 of Phoenix Digital's biggest clients attend that conference. I watch their faces as we demonstrate features that solve problems they've been complaining about for years. Problems I couldn't fix at Phoenix because Marcus always cut my budget and timeline. By the end of the conference, 2 of those clients have scheduled meetings with Harrison to discuss switching providers. The third one actually approaches me directly. Phoenix Digital is falling apart, she confides. Ever since you left. Marcus must be feeling the pressure because Phoenix Digital launches a desperate marketing campaign, claiming they're innovating their technology platform. It's laughable. I know exactly what they have under the hood. My old code that Brody barely understands, held together with digital duct tape. Angela sends me screenshots of internal emails. Marcus is panicking, demanding that Kyle and Brody produce updates and improvements. But they can't. Brody doesn't have the skill, and Kyle doesn't have the knowledge. They're stuck running systems they can't maintain or improve. Meanwhile, Nexus keeps getting better. My team and I roll out updates every 2 weeks. We add features, optimize performance, integrate with platforms our clients actually use. Harrison gives me full authority to hire more developers. We go from 3 people to 10, then 15. Velocity Tech's stock price climbs steadily. My 5% equity stake is suddenly worth serious money. Harrison promotes me to Chief Technology Officer. I'm 32 years old, and I'm running the technology division of a major company. The breakthrough comes on a random Tuesday morning. I'm reviewing our client acquisition reports when I notice something remarkable. 4 of Phoenix Digital's top 10 accounts have switched to Velocity in the past month. That's millions in revenue gone. Harrison walks into my office with champagne. We just closed Titanium Industries, he announces, popping the cork. Titanium Industries was Phoenix Digital's oldest, most loyal client. Their account alone is worth $2.5 million annually. They specifically requested that Tyler Morgan oversee their implementation, Harrison adds, grinning. Said they were tired of dealing with incompetent support and outdated systems. We toast to the victory, but I'm already thinking ahead. This is just the beginning. I pull up Phoenix Digital's stock information. Their shares have dropped 18% in 4 months. Articles are appearing in trade publications questioning their technology capabilities and client retention strategies. One headline reads, Phoenix Digital struggles after key personnel loss. Angela finally quits Phoenix Digital. She can't take the dysfunction anymore. I hire her immediately as Velocity's Director of Finance. She brings insider knowledge of Phoenix's weaknesses and client pain points. More importantly, she brings integrity, something Phoenix clearly lacks. Her first day, we grab lunch at the same cafe where Harrison first approached me. It's complete chaos there, Angela tells me, shaking her head. Brody caused another major outage last week. Client data got mixed up. Companies received invoices for other companies' services. I wince. That's a nightmare scenario in our industry. Marcus tried to cover it up, but word got out. 3 more clients are reviewing their contracts. She pauses, then looks at me seriously. Tyler, they're going to fail. Phoenix Digital is on borrowed time. Part of me should feel guilty. But I remember Marcus's smug face when he fired me. The way Brody smirked from my desk. Kyle's whispered conversations plotting my removal. I don't feel guilty at all. Month 6 brings the article. A major tech industry publication runs a feature titled, The Hidden Cost of Toxic Management, How Phoenix Digital Lost Its Edge. The journalist interviewed former employees, industry analysts, and even some current Phoenix clients. My name appears throughout, though I didn't participate in the interview. The article describes me as the technical genius Phoenix Digital took for granted. It details how the company's decline coincided perfectly with my departure. It questions Marcus's leadership and highlights the suspicious hiring of Kyle's nephew. The article goes viral in tech circles. My phone explodes with calls and messages. Marcus releases a defensive statement claiming the article is biased and inaccurate. But the damage is done. Phoenix Digital's reputation is in tatters. 3 days later, their stock drops another 12%. Industry analysts start using terms like significant restructuring, and potential acquisition target. Harrison and I exchange knowing glances during our executive meeting. Harrison calls me into his office on a Friday afternoon. He's got documents spread across his desk and an unusual expression on his face, something between excitement and disbelief. "Tyler, sit down. You need to see this." He slides a folder toward me. It's a preliminary acquisition proposal. Velocity Tech is considering purchasing Phoenix Digital's assets. The company is so devalued now that they're essentially a bargain bin opportunity. If we move forward, Harrison explains, we'd acquire their remaining client contracts, their office infrastructure, and their intellectual property. What little functional IP they have left. He pauses meaningfully. And you'd be overseeing the integration of their systems into ours. Be their boss. Marcus, Kyle, Brody, if they even survive the acquisition, would answer to me. The irony is almost too perfect. But there's a part of me that wonders if this is what I really want. Revenge feels good, but is it worth it? I take the weekend to think about the acquisition. Saturday morning, I go for a long run through the city, trying to clear my head. The truth is, I'm not the same person who got fired 6 months ago. I've grown beyond Phoenix Digital. Beyond Marcus's petty games and Kyle's nepotism. Velocity Tech doesn't need Phoenix Digital's broken systems or toxic culture. We're thriving on our own merits. Acquiring them would be a distraction, pulling our focus away from innovation and growth. It would be revenge for revenge's sake. Sunday night I call Harrison. I don't think we should acquire them, I tell him honestly. Phoenix Digital is sinking because of their own choices. We don't need to tie ourselves to that shipwreck. Let's keep building something better instead. There's a pause, then Harrison laughs, a genuine, respectful sound. You know what, Tyler? That's exactly why you're going to be CEO of this company someday. You think long term. I agree completely. By month 8, Phoenix Digital makes headlines again, but not good ones. They've laid off 40% of their workforce, including Kyle Patterson. Brody apparently left months earlier to work at his uncle's firm. Marcus remains CEO, but the board has stripped him of most decision-making authority. Angela shows me the internal memo that went out. Phoenix Digital is being absorbed by a larger corporation that specializes in troubled tech companies. It's essentially a controlled collapse. Marcus will stay on as a figurehead for 6 months, then be pushed out. Feel nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction. Just a kind of distant recognition that consequences have a way of catching up. Marcus fired me for being too good, and in doing so, destroyed the foundation of his own company. Meanwhile, Velocity Tech just landed our largest contract ever. A Fortune 500 company worth $8 million annually. My team has grown to 35 people. We're opening a second office. The tech podcast that interviewed me earlier releases their episode. It becomes one of their most downloaded shows. A year after my firing, I receive an unexpected email. It's from Marcus Flynn. The subject line reads, "Congratulations and apologies." I almost delete it without reading, but curiosity gets the better of me. "Tyler," it begins, "I've had a lot of time to reflect on my mistakes. Letting you go was the worst business decision I've ever made, driven by insecurity and poor judgment. I let politics and personal relationships cloud my thinking. You deserved better. I hope you're doing well, and I genuinely mean it when I say congratulations on your success at Velocity. You earned every bit of it." Marcus, I read it 3 times. Part of me wants to fire back a harsh response, listing every way he wronged me. But what would that accomplish? He's already lost everything that mattered to him professionally. I close the email without responding. Some things don't need words. Later that evening, I'm having dinner with Angela and some of the team. We're celebrating another successful quarter. Someone asks me if I miss Phoenix Digital. Smile. Not even a little bit. 18 months post-firing, Velocity Tech goes public. Our IPO is one of the most successful tech offerings of the year. My 5% equity stake, combined with stock options Harrison granted me, is suddenly worth $28 million on paper. $28 million. I stare at the number on my financial advisor screen, hardly believing it's real. The kid who used to code in his tiny apartment, surviving on ramen and coffee, is now a multimillionaire. All because I refused to let Marcus's betrayal define me. The IPO celebration is held at a fancy hotel downtown. Harrison gives a speech thanking key team members, and when he mentions my name, the entire room stands and applauds. I feel my face flush, uncomfortable with the attention but grateful for the recognition. My parents are there, tears in their eyes. My mom hugs me tight and whispers, "We always knew you were special." For the first time in 18 months, I let myself feel the full weight of everything that's happened. The pain, the anger, the doubt, and now the vindication. Today, I'm standing in Velocity Tech's new headquarters, a gleaming building downtown with my name on a plaque near the main entrance. Tyler Morgan Innovation Center. It's surreal. 3 years ago, I was being escorted out of Phoenix Digital with my belongings in a cardboard box. Now I'm Chief Technology Officer of a billion-dollar company, with teams across 3 cities, revolutionary products that changed our industry, and respect I earned through skill and determination rather than politics or connections. Phoenix Digital. They're a cautionary tale now, a case study in business schools about how not to manage talent. I heard Marcus is working as a consultant for small startups. Kyle left the industry entirely. Brody's LinkedIn profile still lists him as a systems manager, though I doubt anyone's hiring him for technical roles. My phone buzzes. It's Harrison. Board meeting in 10. We're discussing your promotion to President of Technology. I grab my coffee and head to the conference room, passing young developers who look at me with admiration. Not because I crushed my former employer, but because I built something better. Because I proved that talent wins eventually. Because I showed that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's success so massive they can't ignore it. Marcus was right about one thing. I was too good at my job. But he was wrong about everything else. Being too good isn't a weakness. It's the very thing that lifts you higher than people like him can ever reach. And that makes all the difference.